Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're listening. Welcome to our 39th episode of The Divine Mess. And today we have a very special guest that, that came on our virtual couch. We did have a fun conversation before, uh, and we really enjoyed. We were like, we should have pressed record by then, but then we said, let's let's enjoy more of that, wisdom that's coming through. And by the way, if it's your first time listening, this is the Divine Mess where we have conversation about daily practical tips about life, how to navigate through the divine life, and how to enjoy our human experience in this spiritual body. And today, by the way, I'm Kirti Deva Perman, also known as Deva. I'm the cosmic guide of the Hero's Mystic, where we help you to slay your demons and face your, like awaken your inner hero and navigate through the divine mess. And like every single week, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Tina Ryan. She's just catching a breath today, so I will just take on from there. She's the intuitive and love coach at Doma and Co. And she always bring her lovely feminine energy in this podcast just to balance out my logical and structured way. So today we are joined by Dr. Marcia Martin. She's the heart healer, a spiritual empowerment counselor, metaphysical minister, best-selling author, public speaker, and clairaudient angel communicator, specializing in helping people heal their relationship with themselves. Her unique heart-centered energetic healing approach, the angel heart healing technique, which I'm really curious to know about, enables you rather to build the perfect relationship with yourself and help you to answer those constant question: who am I, why I'm here, and where I'm going. So Dr. Marsha will help you to release your greatest fear so that you can achieve your biggest dream and heal your heart by doing so. So welcome, Dr. Marsha, and welcome, Tina, as well. So we'll lead with Dr. Marsha to share a bit of her journey to expand more about her the Heart Healing Foundation as well. Lead the way.
Well, thank you so much. And as we were saying earlier, I think it's so important to remember that this journey that we're all on is not supposed to be already figured out. It's okay to stumble around and feel like I'm in the dark and I have no idea how to get to where I want to go from where I am. And the other thing that they keep reminding me is this was never a journey that we were going to walk alone. It is always and has always been designed as a partnership because it is when we partner with the divine that we are able to get the guidance that we need in order to get that personal growth that we are searching for on the journey. But too often we believe, well, I can't partner up with the divine until I am this or that or something else. And that's when the angels tell me, but you're perfect as you are. You may not be perfect for yesterday and perhaps not for tomorrow, but in this moment, which is the only place you can be, you are perfect. And that means whether you are driving down a dead end alley or you are on the express route to your goal, you are still perfect. So let's not discount what we learned on those dead ends. Let's not throw out all that we learned when we found our selves face down in the mud. Let's not confine the journey or our success to only those times when we were rocketing toward our goals. I know for myself, now in the work that I do, I look back on all of the jobs, I call them, underline. There were some really bad ones along the way. All of these things that I did in my search for who am I, in my where do I fit search, I had always thought, well, I just want to be a teacher. That's all I want to be. And did that for a while, and it was wonderful. And then wanted then to be with my children and did that for a while, and that was wonderful. And then had to take that breath of now who am I and what do I want to become? Do I want to go back to this person who no longer really exists? Or now that I've expanded, can I become something else? So in it and amongst all of that were all these crazy jobs, anything that I could land to keep going. And when I look back, all of it is relevant to the work that I do today. So while I was running through these various dead ends, I kept thinking, oh, this is so stupid. Why did I do this? Oh my gosh, can I fail any harder? Now I look back, and when someone says to me, well, I just experienced blah, 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 I'm like, oh, I know that feeling. I can help you with that. I just had a really interesting experience yesterday where someone said to me, I have this coworker and this person is so annoying and I just can't seem to get free of this person, even though they've transferred to another department and I'm not seeing them that much. They're just, they want, I want to take revenge and they're not that important. What's wrong with me? Like, oh, this is really interesting. So let's look at what's happening here. Who in your past does this person remind you of? Because all they're doing is bringing forth all of this past pain that you endured and helping you realize, oh, I need to clear that part. That's coming up. That's still really annoying to me. And she was like, oh no, I know, no. Then we dug a little further and she was like, oh, now I know. So it is so fun to be able to help people understand where this thing is coming from. It never comes out of the blue. It always comes from some past experience that caused you to be in that state of, let's call it trauma, even though the experience could not have felt very traumatic. If you're hanging on to it, if you had an unexpected or negative reaction that was, or some sort of unpleasant encounter, you've got it stored somewhere in your subconscious mind, not because you love to punish yourself, but because you believe that's going to protect you in the future. And unfortunately, what we find now is that's just really weighing down your energetic field. You don't have a lot of hope of having that easy, joyful life when you got all this baggage about what happened that's trying to tell you how you're going to live your life today.
Oh, thank you for that. I just had a moment all to myself and went, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That's my whole day. As people talk with me and say, I'm going through, I'm like, whoops, need to get, as soon as this session is over, I have some work that I need to do. Let's look at that one a little more deeply. Scribble myself a little note. And I'm like, thank you for bringing
Yes.
that up. That one had gotten by me. Now I've got one more that I can, one more area where I was being slowed down, held back, limited in my ability to receive or accept or honor myself. So the more you clear, the freer you are, the more room you have to embrace the divine knowledge, and the easier life becomes, the more the synchronicities can come without you really being conscious of desiring that. You just start to formulate the plan and the synchronicities build up and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. But you need a lot of room. You can't have all this heavy baggage stuffing up your arrivals terminal. So, clear it out. as quickly as you can and as ruthlessly as you can. There's absolutely nothing that you want in that subconscious that's negative, because what is coming is so much better than anything you could be holding on to. It's kind of like, looking at your closet and saying, oh, 10 years ago, I spent a lot of money on that dress and I only wore it once, but throw it away, give it away, let it go so that you can be present for the experience that's here for you now, that can meet you where you are instead of where you were.
Yep, I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that for all the things that either they hang on to in their wardrobe or their junk drawer in their kitchen.
All right, I'm thinking about files of classes that I took. I'm like, why am I have not looked at this material because it's here in
Yeah.
10 years. Do I really need to keep it clogging up my workspace? What is it doing for me?
And are you actually going to use it as reference material or not? That's the whole.
Yes, I mean, so much of it I've moved beyond. It was great for me where I was, but I've now used that as a springboard, and that material is not quite as awe-inspiring as it was. So I'll probably, as you said, never reference it again. But yet it's in a it's in a file, just waiting for me to.
Magically turn to it and say, please help me.
Right.
I had a question in terms of when Dava had read your bio, that you were clairaudient and have a connection with the divine. For you, because obviously for everybody their experiences are different, for you, what does that feel like, look like? How could you best describe that?
That is something that is ever changing. So I want to make sure that everyone understands, first of all, there is no person living in the world today or at any time that does not have a connection to the divine. The connection is there, I promise you. Your job is to find it and to expand it, because we are not puppets. We are not marionettes running around on a string guided by the divine. So we get to choose whether our connection is tiny, just allowing us to live in the physical body, or the connection is huge, which allows us to partner fully with the divine. The difference is your awareness and your permission. So free will says the divine doesn't get to tell you this is the way life is going to be. And allowing means you get to choose when you have that permission or that relationship. And when you say, oh, I feel like being tiny, and it will come and go, especially in the beginning. There will be days when you just want to go all out and you feel really safe and you feel like, oh yeah. And then it may feel overwhelming. And so you may cut back again and say, I don't know. I don't, not, this is weird. I can't trust it or whatever. So understand that in the beginning, it's going to ebb and flow until, first of all, you clear away some of your limiting beliefs, some of your baggage, some of the things that are making it difficult for the connection to stay open. And then as you gather more trust, you will choose to keep it open. And if you recognize that it's closing, you'll quick run to open it back up because you recognize how much you're losing. But there are three major ways that you can experience communication with the divine. And there are up to 5 but the three that are most usual is clairaudient, which is clear hearing, and that is what I have. Clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, where you would actually see them. And this, from the people that I know of who are clairvoyant, you actually see an image outside of yourself. Now, as we move further and further in this ascension journey, everything is being directed within. So I have never, well, actually, I should not, let me correct that. I think 2 times I have heard an outside voice that I recognized was clairaudience. Otherwise, it's always been within. And my clairvoyant people have said those images that they were able to see outside are now being pulled in. Everything is being pulled in as we ascend higher, and our connection to the divine gets more pronounced, more profound, because we have better access within than if we are trying to use it and reach out. It begins within, it is strong within, and it can project outward. But if we try to say, oh, I need to get this outside thing to do what I want, we've taken away too much of our ability to interact with it. We're giving power to the outside, and the power must come from within. Now, the other one, which is, I think, probably most common, is clairsentience, where you just feel. It's also similar to claircognizance, which is sort of that knowing. I just know, or I just feel. And then sometimes people have a smelling ability. I forget what that is called, but they can sense different energies because of the smell. I get that every once in a while. And what I am saying is, when I said this will expand and change, I was 90% clairaudient and then a little clairvoyant and hardly any of the clairsentient. All of them are filling out. The more that I spend time with the divine, the more each of these becomes easier for me to interact with. So you're going to begin with one that works really well. It is your dominant sense. You will know it. You don't have to go, oh, what could it be? It is how you learn, how you process, how you interact. So it'll just be familiar to you because it's the one that you lean on most heavily. And then as you spend more time, all of the others will begin coming online as well. You don't lose your dominant one, but the others begin coming on to help you out.
For you, like, thank you for sharing this, because I feel that this is really important for people to understand, like, what's clairaudient and what's clairsentient or clairvoyant. Like, we all believe that people are clairvoyant sometimes because that's what we see mostly on social media or something like that. But for you, like, how do you spend time with the divine? Because you mentioned that.
Well, I do everything in the heart space. I didn't used to. I used to be all in the head. As a psychology major and a teacher, I was just completely brain focused until that wasn't working. And it took me a good 40 years to figure out this isn't working. And then another 20 to move everything down into the heart and realize I'm safe here. I am able to navigate my life in a way that feels good from this space. So when I say I spend time with the divine, I go into the heart chakra space, that heart center space, not the physical heart, but the energetic heart space. And the divine is there waiting for me. They are waiting for all of us because we can't be in a physical body without that connection. So you're just going to where they already are, and then you are opening your senses to being open to them. Think of it as a conversation, whether it comes through pictures and images, words, or feelings. It's having a conversation with an energy that is just not in a physical body.
I think I had that on my run this morning.
Yes,
I
and
was,
that
I
is
was running up the
very
road, and
common.
there was two boys walking down the street, and I was going to keep running. I'm going, I can run. And then it was like, no, you can't. You take that side road. It was very was quick, but it was insistent. You know, it's a little bit like when a mum says, put your socks on, put your socks, you know, we're running late, put your socks on. It was like that, but it was quick and it was short. And so I just changed directions and went home. But it was just one of those things that was just very quick and very insistent. And when you're clairaudient, is it your own voice that you hear, or is it somebody else's?
No, it is my own voice, which can make it seem not as powerful.
Yeah.
You know, you think, oh, that's just me yakking away at myself. But it began by writing down everything that they were saying. It just seemed to give me a better flow.
Okay.
But a couple of things that make it distinctive. First of all, they don't use language that I would normally use. There are much more, the vocabulary is much more formal. You'll see it in the blog posts that I do. They are channeled, and it is always a much more formal and they're very concise in their way of doing things. It also, they use a different syntax. So depending on who is speaking, there's a different choice in vocabulary, there's a different tone to the words, and there's different emphasis put on the words in different places. So once you are familiar with them and you understand, oh, I'm talking to Archangel Raphael. Whenever I call them, they immediately respond with an energy, and it's always so loving that it still surprises me. But they all have their energetic signatures. They all have their own jobs. They all have their own energetic signatures. They have their own way of expressing themselves. So it's very easy to understand who you are interacting with once you have become familiar with those energetic signatures. But they're happy to help you. And this is a huge one because I spent years, I need to know each being and what their name is and what their specialty is. And oh, please don't waste your time. Just understand they know their jobs. These are not stupid people that forgot who they were. They know their names, they know their jobs. They are happy to help. And if you don't know their name, they are not offended. They are just delighted that you have thought to reach out and get the help that you need. If you can use their name, that's lovely. If not, it's not going to change anything. So please don't wait years to receive help because you don't know who to call upon in this particular instance.
I just make it easy for myself. I just call them the God Squad.
Exactly.
And then whoever needs to come in comes in. It's done, right?
Yes, and
I
let's be real. Do we always know what we need? No, I
No.
don't. I'm always like, hey, whoever can help me with this, I created a mess. Help, help, especially with the computer. Oh Lord, that's where it can get a little tricky because I don't always have the vocabulary. I'm not a trance medium, so they have to use my vocabulary. And if I don't understand the terminology or have it anywhere for them to pull out, they got to show me pictures and things, and it can get really dicey. I had to scan some documents we are submitting to be mental health providers for the county here. And I had to scan some documents in to show my education and all this kind of stuff. And the scanner kept giving me this error message. It would turn on, but it kept saying it's not connected to the computer. So I do the computer things I know how to do, turn the computer off, turn the computer on, watch YouTube videos to see how to scan for the 50th time. And I'm like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I unplug everything that I can see because I've got Archangel Michael standing there holding a plug, showing me a plug. I'm like, okay, so I'm plugging and unplugging for about an hour, unplugging and replugging the power source and then the computer power source and finally I realized they were asking me to follow the cable to the back of the computer. That plug had become loose. So there are days when the communication falls apart because I don't have the knowledge that they to solve the problem, and they're limited in what they can share with me based on what I can receive. So if you can learn how to be a trance medium, it might be better. You can get through
Perhaps I
those.
shouldn't practice French. Perhaps there's another course I can take that will help me translate the divine for the humans.
Please. I was like, I know you want me to unplug and or plug something in, but I'm out of plugs. I know I am. Well, I wasn't. There was a plug into the computer. Oh, it was so frustrating. But it did teach me to look beyond what I believed I knew. So that was my lesson there was, okay, I think I know that there's only this many plugs. What if there are more? So that's my new approach. What if there's something else, something more, something that I don't yet know that I need to understand in order to complete this successfully? And please don't lead with, wow, that was stupid. I can't believe you didn't know there was a plug into the computer. Give yourself a break. Instead, say, huh, you know, maybe there's something more. I'm open to learning. The angels are so loving and kind, and we are so cruel and unforgiving. If we can be more as they are, we will progress much more rapidly.
I was waiting for you, sunshine.
I was thinking like, because it's like just going back to the start of the conversation when you mentioned like when the angels see us as perfect, like, and it comes down again to what you're saying, like they see us as loving, like in a loving way, but we don't. So based on your journey, right, what is your understanding of being perfect in their eyes or in?
I have had this conversation with the divine so many times. I don't know how many years it took me to get really on their page. And I just had a conversation with another person who said, it just doesn't seem possible. This particular person is in a situation where they need to find different housing. And they were saying, it just doesn't seem possible that God could be bothered with this. And I said, I've been there and I understand, but I want you to imagine the smallest organism that you have ever has ever been created, and understand that that organism is so loved that it has everything it needs to live its perfect life. So now think about how complicated you are and understand that everything you could possibly need has been gifted to you And all you need to do is unwrap that package to get to that source. You cannot do, say, or be anything other than perfect in the eyes of the divine. They see you as you truly are, not as the mistake you might be in the process of making. They see you as you truly are, and that is as they are. We are as they are. We are not all of what they are. So our journey is toward completion, to be more like they are. But we have to understand, okay, maybe we just got a particle going on right now, because we got a lot still of growing. However, that particle of them that we express is perfect. And that's what we need to grow from. So when they look at us, they see that perfection and they say, "You are amazing. I love you so much. I will support you in any way and never find fault. I may not agree with your choices, or I may not agree with your actions, but you are always going to be loved and you will always be safe." So it doesn't matter if I make the choice to be the vilest human being in this life that I possibly can. I am returning to the heart of God. I am returning to the place of my greatest support. Now, I will spend a period where my soul will be renewed and purified from that experience, but I will never be rejected by the divine because I chose to have this experience of being an abomination in my physical life. So there's nothing you can do to make them love you more, and there's nothing you can do to make them love you less or see you as less than perfect.
It's an interesting question, though, in terms of how can we see ourselves better? Like if the divine see us as this beautiful ray of light, amongst all the darkness and the shadows and the trauma, how can we, within our human experience,
You got to put your
endeavour
God, yeah, you got to put on your God glasses. You got to consciously cut out all of the, ooh, I just can't believe I did that. Let it go. It's not serving you. It's not helping you. It is not moving you forward. Put your God glasses on. Look at all of the things that you're doing well. Look at all of the ways in which you've expanded, everything that you're proud of, everything that you want more of. In this way, you are calling to yourself more that will allow you to do and progress and be that closer to that likeness of God. We are all taught, well, you need to focus on what's wrong. You need to learn from your mistakes. Well, if we spend all of our energy, as I did, focusing on how we are not enough, all we are attracting to us are more circumstances that remind us of why we are not enough. And then we stay in this cesspool of limiting beliefs and negativity, scratching our head saying, I just don't understand why I'm not getting anywhere. I'm trying really hard, but I'm just never enough. If you stop that conversation and start saying, okay, this is what I love about myself in this moment, and be honest, don't pick something that really could use some improvement. Pick the thing that you do admire about yourself. I really love the fact that I spent time with the divine. Okay, you've now elevated yourself and your focus. You're now more willing to do more of that, which is going to bring you closer to what you desire. But while you are in the, oh, that was stupid. Well, now I'm closing down. I'm backing away. I don't want to face the next time I'm going to do something stupid or not know the answer or not get to my goal. So it's just reprogramming yourself, and do it with angelic help. Please don't try to be the hero that I don't need any help. I got my angel's alarm set. When I start running off the cliff, they have free will to say, "What? Hey, woohoo! Uh, do you realize where you're going? You are headed for a disaster. Is that your choice?" And I have even said to them, "Listen, you can do anything you want. Stop me from going in this direction. Got no shame and no pride when it comes to you guys. Just help me stop the runaway train before I have to face the consequence of these thought patterns." So people will say, "Oh, as soon as you realize you're thinking a negative thought, stop that and think something positive." Well, months could go by before you recognize I have been just drowning in a sea of negativity. With angelic support, it could be a few seconds. They say, "Oh, hey, whoa, take a look at that thought. Are you sure you want to put energy there? Is that a good place for you to focus your attention? Look what that's going to bring you." Call on your angelic support. Use their help. None of us are present all of the time. And it we don't get in trouble when we're present. We get in trouble when we're off doing whatever. And our thoughts are leading us instead of us leading our thoughts. So the first line of defense is clear your heart. Get rid of all that baggage so that what greets you when you go into the subconscious, when you just let yourself be, is warmth, love, joy, peace, positivity, excitement, motivation, inspiration. That's what you want to greet you at the door. It's easy then to stay on a path that's going to get you where you need to go. So clear away all that negativity and all that baggage. Examine your limiting beliefs. Take a look at what you learned from your family, your society, culture, whatever is an overarching theme in your life. Take a look at all of those things and see if you still feel good about those. And it's okay. You don't have to make a big announcement, wear a sign, make enemies with your family. You can quietly say, "Okay, mom and dad, I understand you grew up with parents that were exposed to the depression and you have a poverty mindset. I'm not going to try to change you, but I will honor me." You never have to say anything out loud. You can hold all this within. And I really advise, don't go head to head with people who are not ready to change. Why waste your energy? Do you really think them changing their mind is going to affect your life that much? If it does, let's examine the relationship you have with yourself. Why are you allowing someone else's opinion to have that much control over your journey?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when, you put all the puzzle pieces start to fall into place and you go, okay. Even my partner and I both said, we live a very peaceful, kind of harmonious existence as much as you can when you're raising teenage boys. We don't need to invite other people's rubbish. We don't need them dumping their garbage bins in our home, in our field of delicious calm. It just is, it's not for the benefit of us, nor is trying to understand other people's actions either.
Well, yes. And let's remember, if they feel comfortable dropping their garbage in your spiritual field, it is not because they're bad, it's because you have not made it clear that you are only open to being in a place of love, joy, and peace. You may be ducking down into the gossip bin every minute, or taking things out of the negative rubbish bin and strewing that around your energetic field, thereby attracting all these other people. So don't worry about them. Who cares what they're doing?
Yeah.
Get you right, be a beautiful light, and you will have more influence that way than if you talk about it and don't have that inner solidarity going on for you.
Yeah. We just like to keep it clean and tidy on our side of the fence.
Yes. And you will then
so
give
much
others.
nicer.
Yep. It's going to give, and you're giving others permission to do the same, because they'll look at you and say, oh, she did it. Must not be impossible. And then I usually just wait. I set the example with my energy, and then I wait for people to ask me, what are you doing? How come your life is like that? I've stopped even going out and sharing. So I just let the energy do the announcing. And then if someone is curious, I'm happy to share, but I don't have those awkward conversations anymore where I'm like, my angels, and they're like, oh, great, here she goes again.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Heart Healing Foundation and how people can find out a little bit more about what you do and what that involves?
Absolutely. This was a brainchild of the angels. After COVID hit, I have been in private practice for a very long time. But after COVID hit, I realized, okay, this model isn't working anymore. I am seeing the trauma crisis expand while the funds to address it dwindle. So I couldn't be just private pay anymore. And so we created the Heart Healing Foundation, which now offers pay what you can for group counseling. You can still see me privately, but then that's a standard fee. But you are welcome to participate in a group, and we do exactly the same things. It's just spread out among the group as opposed to just you individually. But it is pay what you can as opposed to pay a set fee. And if you can pay nothing, then you can volunteer in some other capacity.
Interesting. Well, that just
And
enables other people to give what they can in a different way.
Absolutely. And we're always happy to receive donations or sponsorships or any way you want to support the work. If you're feeling great and your pockets are overflowing, yes, we are happy to receive, and it will go directly into services for an individual or individuals who are not able to afford the care. Because we need to remember that trauma often leaves the individual destitute. It will take everything from someone if it goes unchecked for a long enough period of time. And it is not reasonable to say to the person, well, when your bank account is full again, I'll be happy to help you, because they're too lost in the darkness to understand sometimes even how to get a job. So we got to begin where they are and clear space so they are able to receive that guidance and then get back out into the workplace. And that's what angel heart healing does so beautifully. When you clear that heart space, when you refill it then with this beautiful Holy Spirit energy of love, you become this individual whose life is transformed, and then you are contributing to society in a way you never thought you could. So we're taking dysfunctional people and helping them to function, and then all of us benefit.
Beautiful. And is it like open only to the US, or is it like international as well?
It's
For the program?
international. It would just be a time thing. We meet via Zoom because we're
Okay.
all over the country right now. I have had people in other countries. It's kind of a little challenging because of the time, but I'm willing to work with you if you are willing to receive guidance from the Christ consciousness and the angelic realm. I cannot do this without their support. I don't know what your greatest need is without them. Like the person who told me, oh, I've got this coworker. I didn't know. They were telling me, ask her about this, ask her about that, ask her, leading her to the understanding of, oh, now I know where this is coming from. So I am always getting guided to help you find the source. And then we go to the source to do the clearing. We don't start present day because your issue didn't start present day. It's usually something in childhood. And this is also true, even if it's a past life issue, if it is something that was left unresolved in a past life, you will revisit it here in this life and have something that you can catch onto or hold onto in this life where we say, okay, that's the energetic snafu that we need to go clear. And the angels help us do that as well. But the presence of the Christ is the energy of unconditional love. And that is the magic sauce. That, for those of us who have experienced trauma, who feel completely lost, broken, confused, unlovable, to be met with unconditional love is a feeling like no other. And one of the first things each person is told is that from this point forward, we are going to make you understand that you are never alone. Even though you've never been alone, we will do everything in our power to prove to you that we are here. And one of the first things is, as we go searching in the heart space for that energetic confusion that we want to release, you don't go first. The energy of unconditional love goes first, and then your energetic being can follow behind. But everybody, all my little empaths, like to run out and no, you may not. You are not strong enough and powerful enough to defeat the pain of your past. Only with the support of this energetic love are you going to be able to see it without being re-traumatized. See it, heal it, see it, clear it, and heal it without being re-traumatized.
And I feel like, like throughout your sharing, there are beautiful messages that are coming through. Is it okay for you to share like more from, if you have like a channeling message that's coming through for our listeners, or even for us or anyone? If you feel that you can share it with our audience, we'll be very happy about it.
Oh, absolutely. So the presence of the Christ is the most dear to me. I call this presence Jesus because that's what I grew up believing that energy to be. However, it is just the energy of unconditional love. And the message that this energy shares, regardless of who you are, is that you are safe and loved. And this is not words. This is not an I hope so. This is not maybe someday I'll be good enough. No matter where you are, who you are, what you may have done or said, you are safe and loved. And they want you to feel that in your heart. It's not something you can process intellectually. And it's very important that you understand that even though things can happen to the physical body, they are not referring to the physical body. You will fall down. You might get an illness. You may expose yourself to other things. The soul, the piece of you that is always safe and always loved. So you are free to explore in every way you would like to. You can throw yourself off the cliff to see if you can fly, if you believe that is going to further your journey. And if you don't make it, if you don't fly, you are still safe and loved. You will return to your energetic form, but you will be forever safe and loved. So they don't want us living lives that are cowardly or limited for fear that something is going to happen to us. They don't want us taking ridiculous risks either. They want us living a life that feels good to our hearts, knowing that no matter what our choice is, we will always return to the heart of the divine.
Taking a few moments to absorb this message, you know, like it's so beautiful. I don't think there's any comeback to that. The message was shared. Because
I
when you
just
say, yeah,
I just want us all to remember, because I spent so long saying, I'm too insignificant for God to notice. Or my other story was, yeah, but Mary has cancer and her children are little. So God, I'm muddling through here. I'm okay. I can wait a few more days to eat. But Mary has cancer and she has little kids. So you've got to get over there immediately. This is just us not understanding the magnitude of the energy that we are dealing with. Please don't short circuit yourself, believing that somehow that's going to make God more able to help the other person. They are omniscient. They can be everywhere at all times, and they are never unable to meet the needs of the people. What can happen is that we will view ourselves as unworthy and we will refuse to receive. But that blessing that you desire, that answered prayer, that miracle, it is already here. No one is denied, no matter who you are. And I cannot say this often enough. And actually, I had a very eye-opening conversation with them once when I said, I get it. I totally get that you love everyone, but those pedophiles, truly, they have to be off your radar. The action is, to me, reprehensible, and there's nothing right about it. The soul of the person engaging in pedophilia is as loved as any of us. Their actions will not be condoned. They will not be supported in pursuing this path, but that soul is continuing to receive blessings, answered prayers, and miracles. However, because they are so cut off from the divine flow, it is very unlikely that they are aware of any of this, and that is probably why they're acting the way they're acting.
Wow. What a start to the day.
When you can get a step back from what we may have all learned through the dogma, and you really step in to the personal relationship, it is awe-inspiring. There are just no words to explain the love. It's, they're going to do it now. Especially when Mother God and Mother Mary, when the mother energies come in, they are so loving and so caring. and so kind. They can't be held within. They always make me cry, but not out of sadness, out of the beauty and the magnitude of this energy. That's another thing that I love is they explain to me the difference and the purpose and the reason behind the masculine and the feminine. Having grown up with a male god and not liking that god very much, I started my new journey only working with the female aspect. It was all mother god. Somehow I still maintain Jesus. I don't know. The mind is a crazy thing because I only wanted to talk to Mother God, but I needed Jesus to be with me. So how I worked that out for myself, I don't know. But I was trying to cut out that whole domineering masculine side, that side of God that I believed existed for punishment. And finally, after I had healed enough, they showed me, first of all, that is all incorrect thinking and understanding, but the masculine is the structure. We cannot exist without it. And they put it in terms of a house. So the masculine is the framework of the house. It's a solid foundation. It's the frame. It makes sure that we can all be safe from the weather and the elements and that we have this nice, cozy place to be. But it's empty. The feminine brings in the texture, the colors, the emotion, the warmth that will give personality to the structure. So one cannot exist without the other. And when they are allowed to coexist, it creates that perfect harmony.
It sure does, and that's why this works.
Yes, it's just
Really beautiful.
it's impossible, just to be, you can be a structure, but you miss out on all the depth and the color and the joy of life. Or you could be just, a floating wisp of color, but then you would have no foundation, no mooring, and you wouldn't really be able to accomplish anything of substance. So when you allow them to come together to anchor you and inspire you, you've got everything they are and your greatest opportunity to be everything you wanted to be when you came here.
I don't know about you, but I feel amazing this morning. Thank you. We've had our own personal counselling session.
I feel that's beautiful messages like, like coming from even Mother Mary, or because that's something we talk about a lot on here. We do have a special connection on that front. So it's a good reminder like how you connect and how the way you explain about the divine masculine and divine feminine, it's so easy to understand and it makes it like so much clearer for people to see it, like visually they can see it, like people
Yes,
living in their
because
house.
my God was mean, boy. That God that I grew up with sat on a throne, kind of looking out over, waiting for me to screw up so I could get a lightning bolt in the head. I did not want to engage with that energy. So trying to cut myself off from it was limiting me in being able to ground into universal truth so that I would have a platform to stand upon and be able to rise with. And I think it's really important that we understand there are universal truths, but they are not necessarily within the dogma of any organization. So you have to really dig down. Universal truth feels right. You can't hope your way there. There's no faking with universal truth. When I tell you that every individual on this planet is eternally safe and loved, I can take a really deep breath. I know the rightness of that statement. Conversely, if I were to say to you, Well, only 144,000 have been chosen. There's no connection, no truth, no anchor, or some of these souls have been damned because of their choices. Again, I'm just spouting words. There's nothing resonating within me that says yes. So universal truth feels like a gong or a bell in your heart center. It just vibrates out with it, this beautiful frequency of love, and it will always do so. So don't take my word for it. Check for yourself. How does that make you feel? If you get that resonant feeling of expansion, you are in alignment with universal truth. You are understanding who the divine are, and you are going to receive the support that you need in order to go far on your journey. If you are trying to cling to these misperceptions, you're going to end up with a lot of confusion and a lot of broken promises, dead ends, things that appear to be failures, and a lot of probably tough consequences.
Well, now that all of us have had our hearts well and truly loved this morning, I would say it's a perfect time to wrap up today's episode and to thank Dr. Marcia for sharing herself with us and with our audience this morning and being part of the 39th episode of The Divine Mess. And as always, you're loved. We appreciate you. We're so grateful that you came and sat on our digital couch, wherever that may be. And we look forward to having you on the couch for the 40th episode next week. So thank you very much to my gorgeous co-host who always makes life more enjoyable and so much more fun. And we'd probably love to have Dr. Marcia back again in the near future to talk about more of this yummy, delicious stuff and for people to understand that there's more to it than what our human brains can see, and to start to revel in their heart space rather than trying to think their way out of everything. So until next week, thank you once again, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Marcia, for coming on board. And I think that the biggest takeaway is like you are loved and you are safe, everyone listening. And if you have any last parting word for just today episode, I know you will come back, I'm sure. We'll make sure of that.
Yeah. It would be an honor to come back. And I think the most important thing that I want to continue to emphasize for everyone is that this is not me being wishful. I have seen the effects of this again and again and again. So please clear and heal your heart. It will transform your life.
On these words, thank you so much, and we'll see everyone next week with yet another. It will be a reflection next week on our guests that we had during the past few episodes, and then we'll move on to more guests. So thank you everyone for listening in, and we'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you.